going on, everybody? It's PapaStones coming back with another video. So we got some more card reviews to do, some reveals, reviews, whatever you want to call them. We're gonna go over it and see what we think. Starting off here, we got a couple leaders. We got Wat Tambor. It is green black and says action. If a friendly unit was defeated this phase, give a unit +2/+2 for this phase. It flips on 5. It is a 3/6. And on attack, if a friendly unit was defeated this phase, you may give another unit +2/+2 for this phase. So, seems okay, I guess. I don't know. It's a weird one. Maybe it'll be decent. I feel like the flip side's not that crazy, like the leader deploy, but this side's not bad, right? However, I don't know. I mean, if you're playing something that sacrifices stuff, like you'll get some value there. Maybe it'll be decent, but it seems interesting. And then our other leader here is Kinlin Voss. It is a yellow-white. It says when you play a unit, you may exhaust this leader. If you do, deal 1 damage to an enemy unit that costs the same as the played unit. It also flips on 5, but it's a 3/7. And when you play a unit, you may deal 1 damage to an enemy unit that costs the same as or less than the played unit. This card's interesting, leader, because on this side, like probably the first 2 turns of the game, it's going to feel really cool, right? They'll play a 2 cost, you'll play a 2 cost, deal a damage to it. Next turn, they'll play a 3 cost, you'll play a 3 cost, deal a damage to it. But like the later it goes, the 1 ping's going to be pretty much non-existent, right? Like you're not always going to be like playing the same exact curve as them. And if you are just trying to play the same curve as them just to do 1 damage, it's probably not worth it. However, it is a free action to do. The deploy side, though, is actually pretty decent because it doesn't have to be the same cost, right? So, like, say they have a 2 health unit, like a 2 drop or something, and you flip this, you play a 2 and a 3, you could technically just kill that. The flip side, like the leader side is very strong, right? But I think the non-leader side is kind of meh. But I'm not sure if this makes the cut. However, there's not a ton of good yellow heroism leaders currently. I mean, you could say Han Solo, right? But that's a totally different style of play than what this would entail. So maybe it'll be Rogue, who knows, but it's okay. Moving on to cards, though. We've got Luminara Unduli. I'm bad at pronouncing stuff. It's a 7 cost blue-white rare, 4/9 stats, Force Jedi Republic. It's coordinate grit, and when played, choose a base, heal 1 damage from it for each unit you control. Maybe this is a decent top end for coordinate decks. The fact that it's gotta have coordinate to gain grit's kind of strange. However, it could be kind of nasty in like a sense. You could technically beat it up as a 4, and then later on, you know, if you establish the coordinate, it gets a bit larger. You could keep it out of Fell the Dragon range if you don't have the coordinate up. So like there's ways that could be a good thing, to be honest, but it's interesting to say the least. Like I said, I think if there is a coordinate blue-white deck that is playable, this could be a decent top end for it. Moving on, though, we've got Morgan Elsbeth. It is a 4 cost blue-black rare. It is a 3/6 Force, Imperial, and Official. It has Restore 1, and on attack you may defeat another friendly unit. If you do, draw a card. That has me curious because I already forgot. Hold on, I gotta check something, because I think Gunray, hold on, if 2 or more friendly units, I was about to say, because I think Gunray is if a unit was defeated. Okay, so that's kind of irrelevant. So I mean, it gets you 1, right? It gets you some card draw. I think the stats are too bad, to be honest. I don't see this being fantastic by any means. I mean, sure, if you're playing like a token generator that isn't planning on exploiting, I guess, but like I feel like most token generation decks so far at least seem like they're going to be very focused on exploit. However, if there's just a control deck that's trying to, that just so happens to make tokens, or I guess if you wanted to like sack your super laser tech or something like there's options where this can be okay, right? But I feel like as a whole, it's kind of mid. Moving on, though, we got some green. We've got Admiral Trench. It is a 7-cost green-black uncommon. It is a 5/5 Separatist official with exploit 1. And when played, return up to 3 units that were defeated this phase from your discard pile to your hand. I like this in a sense, right? Obviously, I feel like this is mainly for exploit decks or possibly side decks against Super Laser Blast style decks, right? Because imagine, they Super Laser, you have 3 units, and you're just like, oh, cool, I'll play Trench, I'll grab them all back. Now, it's just a hand, but still it's resources you get back in a sense. But I'm picturing this in something like Dooku, where you can exploit it for 3 possibly, so you could just sack off 3 things, get them all back. Like, it's definitely a decent card for exploit style or side deck, I said, for like mass removal or whatnot, but we'll see. It's an interesting card. Other green card we got, though, is Pogle the Lesser. It is a 2-cost green-black rare. It is a 1/4 Separatist and official. When you play another unit, you may exhaust this unit if you do create a battle droid token. I think this card is so cringe. I can't believe I'm going to say it, but it's Poggers. Poggles the Poggers, it's not my style of speech, but it seemed real necessary there because I think this card's super cool. Like, I'm picturing this in Palpatine, or I mean, obviously any green-black deck that can make use of this, but I'm thinking of Palpatine specifically right now. You play this on your first turn, your next turn you play your Royal Guard. You have a Royal Guard with Sentinel, you have this that's exhausted and a token, and if Palpatine plays some exploit stuff, you have exploit fodder. In Dooku, same concept. Excuse me. Play this, you play something else on the next turn, you get a free token. I think this card's really good. You don't really care about pushing 1 damage, and you don't technically have to exhaust it. If you do, say there's like a 1 health trade that you really want to make, you could just do it. So I think this card's really solid. Yeah, moving on, though, we've got Self-Destruct. It is a 2-cost red-black event. It is uncommon. It just says defeat a friendly unit. If you do, deal 4 damage to a unit. Could be okay. Could be bad. I feel like this is mostly for if your stuff's already injured, or if you have good win defeateds, or for tokens or something. In those cases, it's like a cheaper open fire, but you still technically have open fire for 1 more that doesn't require you to get rid of something. So maybe it's good, maybe it's average, maybe it's unplayable. Who knows? Moving on, though, we got Soldier of the 501st. It is a red-white common, 1-cost, 1/3 Republic Clone Trooper with Raid 1. The tags have to matter, I guess, because other than that, there's vanilla 2/3s you could play, right? Maybe not for 1, I guess. I don't know. I'd have to check all the stat lines, but 2/3 for 1 isn't bad, but it's only while attacking too, so who knows? Like I said, the tags probably have to matter on this one. Moving on, though, we got Anakins Interceptor. It's a 2-cost red-white spaceship. It is an uncommon. It's Jedi Republic vehicle and fighter, 2/3 stat line. While your base has 15 or more damage on it, this unit gets +2/+0. I don't hate it, I guess. I feel like you don't want your base to have 15 damage on it because it means you're probably not in a great spot, but at that point at least it's a 4-3 when you draw it instead of just 2-3, so it's not technically like as dead late game, but 2-3 in the early turns is kind of meh for a spaceship. You definitely prefer the 3-2 stat line on spaceships, I think. Who knows, maybe it's not bad, maybe it's a tech against aggro. No, because I don't know, it's not the best thing I've ever seen, but it's not the worst. Moving on though, we got Bold Resistance. It is a 3-cost red-white event. It is uncommon. It says choose up to 3 units that share the same trait. Each of those units gets +2/+0 for this phase. It's kind of like Rallying Cry for double red, and that card sees no play. And it's not as limited to 3 units that share a trait. I mean, if it was, it might be too broken at that point, but if it was like more like Rebel Assaulty, like you choose the units and then they get the +2 and get to attack, that'd be it's pretty solid, right? But like the fact that they don't get to do anything immediately, I don't know if this will probably make the cut. Maybe it will, I don't know. It just seems a little too slow for what it's trying to do, so I don't really love it, I guess. Moving on though, we've got Wolfpack Escort. It is a 1-cost 2/1 spaceship in yellow-white. It is common. It's a Republic vehicle fighter, and when played you may return a friendly non-leader non-vehicle unit to its owner's hand. I mean, at least it says you may, you don't have to. It's not like the, I think it's Pirated Starfighter or something like that, that forces you when it attacks to bounce something. Or plate or whatever it is, I forget. But I don't know if this will be very good. Maybe there are certain decks that really need to take advantage of some when played effects. Like, I guess this could theoretically, like, you could play like a Cantina Bouncer and then play this, put the bouncer back in your hand, or after you played your bouncer, you know, like say on turn 5 you played your bouncer, went to next turn, played this, put the bouncer back, bounce something else. Maybe like situations like that'll be good. This might just be a combo piece, honestly, but in those style of situations I think this might see some play, but there is also possibilities that this is just not worth it, I guess, but who knows. We'll have to see what happens with it. Moving on, though, we've got Chancellor Palpatine. This is a 4-cost double yellow legendary. It is a 2/6 Republic official. Each token unit you create enters play ready. And on attack, if a unit left play this phase, create a clone trooper token. This might be playable as like a standalone card, but I'm thinking if there is some double yellow exploit mechanics that's like playable, right? Like, imagine slapping this in Boba Fett and just going to town, right? Like, I mean, sure, it comes out slow since it's only on attack that you get to create a 2/2, but if there were options for it, like there were ways to keep this around and you could clear something, swing with this, get a 2/2, next turn keep it rolling, like this card could get out of hand really fast, but at the same time it is kind of slow and it is only a 2/6. So the stat line when it comes out isn't the best, right? But I think it's definitely got some potential. Maybe even Han, right? Han's the other double yellow right now that's floating around. Throw this in Han. They do a lot of controlling of the board, so it could see some play. I definitely don't think this is a bad card. Will it, though, is debatable. It kind of depends on if there's ways to make this last, but it definitely is promising. Moving on, though, we've got Sand Hill. It is a 6-cost yellow-black rare. It is a 3/7 Separatist official. It has Exploit 3. And on attack for each friendly unit that was defeated this phase, ready a friendly resource. This one kind of terrifies me. Same concept as the last card I was just talking about. You're obviously going to want to play this in an exploit style deck, but my immediate thought comes into ECL, right? Because this isn't double colored. So you could technically ECL. I'm pretty sure they said it works this way. I'm not 100%, but pretty sure you can ECL and then exploit to pay it, right? So you can exploit the 3, play it for free technically, and then attack, get 3 resources back. In that situation, it sounds pretty solid. Like, the stat line for a 6-drop is bad, but you can't really rank exploit cards based on their original stats, right? Because they're planned on sacrificing something. Yeah, I think this card's pretty solid. However, will it get a slot in the top end of yellow decks, yellow villainy decks that are like more aggressive, I guess? Because I don't think it's a control tool. I think it's more for the mid-range / aggro yellow styles. But who knows, maybe. It's definitely also got some promise here. Moving on, though. We've got Political Pressure. It is a 1-cost yellow event. It says, it's also common. Choose an opponent. They may discard a random card from their hand. If they don't, create 2 battle droid tokens. I don't know about this one. I mean, making your opponent choose is okay, right? Like, cards like that generally don't see that much action right now, though. Just because you have to be okay with either choice, right? Like, maybe later in turns, like, it is discard for yellow, don't get me wrong, but, or possible discard for yellow. But like, in later turns, if they got 1 card in hand, you can play this, you can rip it, or they give you 2 1/1s, right? Like, that feels bad. But if you play it early, who's to say they don't just throw away a random card, you know? It could be okay. At least it's random. It's not like a chosen card, but I don't know. Me personally, I don't like giving my opponent an option if I don't have to. So I don't love it, but I could see why people might. Moving on, we got Droid Suppressor. It is a 7-cost yellow common 4/7 Separatist droid vehicle walker. It has Exploit 2, and when played, exhaust an enemy ground unit. It's kind of meh, I guess. At least it does something when it enters play. And you can technically play it for 3, I guess, right? But exhausting 1 unit isn't that fantastic for what it is. Maybe it's an answer to leaders, right? You hold this and wait for their leader to come down, and you play this and stall it for a turn. Like, there's that, I guess. But other than that, I feel like it's kind of rough. Moving on, though, we have... I didn't move. We're going to move these over to stay in color form. We got Jar Binks. It is a 2-cost double yellow uncommon 2/3 Gungan. It says, on attack, deal 2 damage to a random unit or base. So at first when I read this, I was like, this card's going to be super cracked, right? And then I reread it and thought about it, and it is way too bizarre. So my initial thought was like, you got to choose if it was going to be a base or a random unit, so you could kind of narrow down the targets. And then my mind immediately went enemy 2, and it doesn't say that either. So basically, what happens is, say you play this, your opponent plays a unit, you pass, you go to next turn, you swing with this. You randomly choose which thing gets hit. So it could be itself, your base, their unit. So you already got 4 random choices. And then it just keeps getting gradually more from there. I feel like this is an internet card. Like for the people who played like Hearthstone, you know, where it just like RNGs what your random targets are. Like, this feels like something that should be an internet card. In playing this in actual reality, like, if the board's flooded, which it seems like it might possibly be next set, you know, with a bunch of tokens, you're gonna have to like roll a d20 to decide what gets hit, you know. And it's like, this card seems strange. However, I think it might see some play just because randomly being able to hit something for 4 on turn 1 is kind of cool. Maybe the damage goes your way, but I guarantee this card will cause a lot of problems, good or bad. Like, it'll be one of those things where it's like, oh, I got sacked turn 1 by a Jar Binks, you know what I mean? Like, I played my 4 health minion on turn 3 and it attacked it and did 2 to it. Like, things like that. So, I don't know. It's a weird one. Moving on, though. We've got Ahsoka Tano. It is a 3-cost yellow-white legendary. It is a 3/4 Force Jedi Republic. While you control fewer units than an opponent, including this unit gains ambush. And then action for 2, you can return this unit and each upgrade on her to their owner's hands. It's okay. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen. Getting ambush on a 3/4 for just being behind on board, I guess, isn't terrible. The fact that you have to pay 2 to return it to your hand kind of feels bad. However, if you are upgrading it, that does kind of feel nice, right? Say you gave it a Hotshot DL or something, you could technically... Oh, excuse me. You could technically, you know, Hotshot DL, hit something for 5, pay the 2, return it and the DL back to your hand. The next turn, just resource it, keep that going. It's interesting. I'm not quite sure how to feel about it, but a 3/4 with ambush in general is okay for 3, right? So it's at least okay. And then lastly, the one I showed a little preemptively, we got Private Manufacturing. It says draw 2 cards. If you control no token units, put 2 cards from your hand on the bottom of your deck in any order. It's not bad. However, drawing cards in this game right now isn't that crucial, I guess. But I still think there might be a world where this comes in. Maybe it's sideboard specific, right? Like in Control versus Control. Maybe certain decks run out of gas really fast and they need some draw. This could do that if you're playing tokens in that sense. But in like the Control versus Control style, it's kind of just draw 2, put 2 back, I guess. If you have no tokens, which is still okay. It's like cycling. It doesn't say they're random cards. So you do just, you know, get a look at 2 new ones and then possibly put 2 bad ones back or put them back if they were no good, which would kind of be a waste, right? But it's definitely not the worst thing. At the same time, it could be better, I guess, just because drawing cards right now isn't that relevant. But like I said, maybe we start getting to a point where decks are just kind of all front-loaded gas cards, and then you need something to refuel. This could be that, but who knows? We'll see. But that's all I got this time for the weekly reveals that we've had. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you're looking forward to. If I missed any, if I got any good, bad takes, whatever it may be, feel free to let me know. And like I said, that's all I got. So make sure to like the video if you enjoyed and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.